today talking about the Starlink satellite system and the options for roof mounts. As you can see, there are two options for mounting the Starlink to your roof. One is for slanted roofs, and that's called the Volcano roof mount, and that one will cost $24. It does require drilling into the slanted roof though. The Ridgeline roof mount does not require any drilling. It uses weights such as bricks to hold down the mounting system. It's suitable for roof ridge lines and flat roofs, and it's $99. You want to choose the roof mount that is most appropriate for your desired installation location. There's guides for installation here. We've got the roof mount guide for the Ridgeline mount, and essentially that's just a few pages. Both of the guides for the Ridgeline mount and the Volcano mount are similar, with just a few differences. Going through the document for the Ridgeline mount, you can see kind of the shape of the mount there. It's got two different positions, whether it's going to be put on the ridge of the roof or used in a flat position. So it does have a folding option depending on which option you're looking for. So what you get for the $99 Ridgeline mount is you get the actual Ridgeline mount with a protective mat, a carrying bag, and wall clips. It's got two ways of operation, whether it's locked or unlocked. You're going to need some items to mount this Ridgeline mount to the roof. So it's basically blocks or bricks. You're talking about 8-inch by 2-inch by 16-inch blocks. You're going to need 4 of those, and or otherwise you'll have the choice of using some standard bricks. You're going to need 16 of those to get the weight you're going to want to hold the Starlink down to the roof. And those would be your standard brick sizes of 8-inch by 2 1/4 by 4 inches, and those are 5 pounds. Most importantly, in order to get good service, you're going to want to determine the best spot to mount the Ridgeline mount to the building structure, and of course you're going to want it to have an unobstructed clear view at a 100-degree angle of the northern sky. So you don't want to have trees or buildings obstructing the northern sky from the satellite mount. You can see the one on the left is the preferred one that's going to work because it doesn't have buildings in the way or trees in the way of the northern sky. You're going to have to route the cable into the building or house from the satellite, so you're going to choose your route. It looks like around the window area or at the base of the house near the foundation. This type of mount, the Ridgeline mount, because it's not secured with screws drilled into the house, is not suitable for areas with high winds or unexpected wind conditions. You're going to want to choose the other option, which is the Volcano mount that drills into the house. This guide comes with installation instructions. Both guides come with installation instructions, and they are pretty similar as far as start to finish. This one here for Ridgeline, you're going to bring your items to the roof, place the mat on the ridgeline of the rooftop where you want your Starlink installed, and carry the Ridgeline mount to the installation location. You unlock the mount and open flat and place over the mat. Position of the mount should match the outline of the mat, and then you want to lock the mount with the lever. You're going to use your ballast to each side of the mount. It's 40 pounds of ballast arranged as diagrammed here. So the left image shows the regular standard bricks, the 16 bricks that you're going to use on either side of the mount, and the image on the right shows the concrete blocks where you're just going to need 4 of those to gather the 40 pounds of ballast. Continuing on here, next you're going to bring the Starlink and the cable with the carrying bag to the installation location, and then you place the mast of the Starlink into the hole at the center of the mount. That's basically what's going to hold the Starlink in place. And then the cable needs to be unraveled and routed into the home to connect to the power supply. Fasten that with wall clips to the wall along the route. Make sure not to puncture the cable or bend it sharply. From there, you're going to be ready to start plugging it in. You don't need to do anything manually as far as tilting the Starlink. It automatically points itself towards the sky after connecting to the power source. So here it's showing the tripod here, which is outdoors. The cable that is routed indoors to the power supply. The power supply gets power from the wall outlet, and then the power supply also routes to the router to deliver the internet. You're going to be ready to connect to the internet. This diagram shows different positions of the Starlink. Basically, it's going to go from a stowed position to a leveling position where it's searching the sky. So it's going to be pointed basically up at the sky until it finds its path to the satellite system in the sky, and it's going to from there be in its tilted position connected to the internet. And then once the LED is glowing solid white or red, you can use your Wi-Fi enabled device to connect using the network ID printed on the back of the Wi-Fi router. It's going to have a default network ID which is printed on the router. You can find that on the back. This diagram here shows the different pulsing or solid LED status lights on the router, whether it's connecting and updating or connected to the internet or not connected at all. Basically white, red, pulsing, or solid. And if you're having any troubles getting online, basically start over with providing power. You want to unplug it for 30 seconds, plug it back in, make sure that you have a clear view of the sky, and make sure you're installing it at the address you used when placing your order. And if you're still having problems after negotiating through the first steps, you can contact Starlink customer support through the Starlink.com account page. You have the option to change your network ID and password here. Reset on the bottom of the router and connect to the network through a browser on any device and follow the instructions. And then you can wait about 2 minutes and rejoin the network with your personalized credentials instead of default ones. And that's it for the Ridgeline Mount guide. The Volcano Mount guide, very similar, just a little bit different package contents, a slightly different setup, but essentially the same. You're going to have your mount shaped as such, as seen on the screen there. Different pilot holes. What you get in the box is you get the rectangular shaped volcano mount with a carrying bag, sealing tape strips and squares, lag bolts, and wall clips. You're going to need some tools, a socket wrench, a drill bit, stud finder, and drill. The other one you didn't need tools to do that job necessarily. Again, choosing the same type of spot where you're mounting the Starlink with unobstructed views 100 degrees of the northern sky, no trees or buildings in the way of the view of the northern sky. Still finding the route for the cable into the house. And here you're using your tools to find studs on the roof, and then mounting the stud, placing the mount over the studs, drilling pilot holes, using the mount holes, circles. Continuing on, you're basically drilling everything together and using a socket wrench to tighten the lag bolts to be snug, plus a quarter turn. That's what's going to keep that mount snug to your slanted roof. From there, it's pretty much the same. You're bringing the equipment to the roof, placing the mast of the Starlink into the hole at the center of the mount, routing the cable into the house, clipping everything to the wall along the route, plugging everything in, which is the same from the Starlink to the power supply to the router, and waiting for the Starlink to auto level, auto tilt, and connect to the internet. And then you'll attempt to connect to the Wi-Fi with the default network ID, observing the LEDs pulsing, connecting, and getting connected to the internet. And then if problems persist, going through the same process of unplugging the router and checking for a clear sky at this address that was used when placing your order. And if nothing else works, contact customer support. That's basically the same process. So you need to be thinking about how you're going to mount your Starlink to your roof, or if you're just going to use the included tripod mount, which basically lets you just place the Starlink on a surface other than the roof of a building. One of these probably going to end up being used in your location, fixed location. So just a little more information as things progress. An installation video will be forthcoming. Make sure to subscribe so you don't miss any upcoming videos. Hit the like button. Put some comments in there, questions. I'll try to answer those as quickly as possible. And we'll see you soon. Thanks.